I'm Sarah Wilson and you're listening to the Roots and All podcast. I'm here to help you get growing. Join me as I explore everything plant related both indoors and out and provide the information you need to create your perfect green environment. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. I initially found out about this week's guest, Simon Murungi, via LinkedIn, which, if you're not already on, is actually a really good place to connect with interesting people from the field of horticulture and actually beyond that. It is a little bit off topic, but I think it's an important issue to talk about. And if you're listening to Roots and All, you probably are interested in organic gardening and, as an extension of that, organic farming. So Simon is an organic farming trainer who founded the organisation SOFAFRICA, which stands for Spreading Organic Farming in Africa. He's passionate about Agro, Ecological, Regenerative agriculture and rural development, and sees organic farming methods as a sustainable approach that can turn around smallholder agriculture from mere subsistence farming to a more commercial enterprise. I started by asking Simon how he became involved in the drive to promote organic farming.
Basically, before I got involved in organic farming, I used to be a student, and I was studying organic agriculture. That's a diploma, and later on a bachelor's in the same. And from there, actually, I had passion, a great passion when it comes to organic farming. That's why I proceeded to study the same. Then later on, my main agenda was also, I had passion to transform the society because of the difficulties and challenges I saw them undergoing, especially during the times when there is famine, food problems. Actually, a lot of food insecurity was also a very major challenge that I was trying to address. From there, after my studies, actually, I started or founded an organization called SOFAFRICA, that is initiatives for spreading organic farming in Africa. And basically, the organization is concerned with training farmers and schools on climate issues and mitigation strategies, also training them on nutrition, better ways of eating healthy food. Also, you find that in the same organization, we train residents or the communities on soil conservation, conservation of wildlife, conservation of our soils, even protection of our rivers from pollution. So basically, that is the main concern that I got myself involved with the organization SOFAFRICA. And so far, I've managed to partner with various organizations, especially the UNEP, that is the United Nations Environmental Program, which is a UN body on issues regarding now conservation and even issues concerning reduction of pollution. And basically, on the other hand, I partnered with a movement that is called the Extinction Rebellion International, that is in the UK. And we are really trying to come forth and create awareness on climate change issues. Also volunteering with the Fridays for Future is also a concern regarding climate change awareness and other effects that are being experienced as a result of climate change. So basically, also the government, actually we are trying to lobby with the government and try to put them on board so that we can be able to initiate several programs around schools. And when I mean schools, also we have been teaming up with youth groups. These youth groups, basically we are meeting them in schools. So far we've managed to work with over 300 youth in colleges, in universities, and even in other tertiary institutions of learning. And through this, actually, the youth are getting a chance also to air their voice and to raise their concerns on various challenges they are meeting. Besides the challenge of environment, also they have other social and even economical challenges they are meeting. So out of all this, now we have been able to have a forum, actually an open forum, that they have been given a chance to actually air their challenges all through. I think that is how basically I have been doing over here in Kenya.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned economic challenges. So actually organic farming, is that more costly than farming that is non-organic? Does it involve more expense for farmers?
Okay, that's a good question. Basically, organic farming is very, very much affordable to even the common farmers, because now instead of them buying the synthetic fertilizers from the Agro shop, now they are able to make their own compost. We train them how to make their own compost, make their own booster fertilizers, foliar fertilizers, using even the indigenous plants that we are having. For example, we have this plant that we usually use that is called Tithonia. Tithonia is very, very much rich in nitrogen, and once we soak it for 4 days with water, you are able now to get very conk water mixture that is very rich in nitrogen that you can use to spray on the crop, maybe vegetable, the leaves. That is now the foliar fertilizer I'm mentioning. And that one is very effective even to be able to also kill the pest. It has medicinal pest quantities, and also it has the factor of fertilizing the crop. So it becomes very, very affordable for a common farmer, and the money that farmer was to use for buying those fertilizers, the farmer now is able to invest in other sectors in the society, in the farm, and even able to save more money to even build housing and even to support the children in school. So I support organic farming because it's very, very much affordable.
And how do you find that it affects the yield of crops? Are farmers tending to produce more?
Well, in the initial stages, when it comes to a farmer converting, that conversion period, converting from a synthetic way of farming to organic farming, actually it takes time. The conversion period can take a period of like 24 months. That's around 2 years. For the farmer, for the soil, starting with the soils, for the soils to be able to adopt to the new sort of organic input or the fertilizers. So after 2 years now, the production for the farmers that we started with 2 years ago, we have realized an increment in production. Also, soil fertility is becoming much better than when they used to use now the synthetic fertilizers.
When people convert to organic farming, what is it that they are doing to improve their soils?
At the moment, what they are doing actually, because we train them also on soil conservation, soils are also very eroded, especially when you are using the synthetic fertilizers, because they kill a lot of the worms, like the earthworms that are in the soil. So you find once the soil lacks these earthworms, the soil becomes dead. And even it's not aerated, it has no air circulation in it, so it becomes interlocked in such a way that the crop to survive in such a dead soil is very difficult. So the yields become low, and you find farming becoming not profitable. And what the farmers are now doing is now increasing more of compost in their soil, and this compost also is entertaining beneficial earthworms that also help to break down the compost and also aerate the soil. So this is one step that they are taking to improve their soils, and also now other farming techniques. We have several farming techniques that they are able to we are training them so that they can be able to have water retention in their soil, unlike the water being carried away when it is irrigated, the soil is irrigated, or when we're having heavy rain. So there are farming techniques that we train them for conserving the water deep down in the soil.
And presumably that means there is less water input needed when they're doing the organic farming.
Perfect. Exactly when we are using the organic method of farming, you find there is less water usage because the soil becomes very, very heavy in such a way that it's able to hold water in the soil, unlike when you are using now the fertilizers, because the synthetic fertilizers are just particles. They are particles like salt or they are particles like sugar. So you find they're associated very fast and they are unable even to bring the soil together. But when you use compost, you find now the compaction becomes even much better, much even heavier. So it holds a lot of water and reduces on water losses and even evaporation itself.
So as a percentage, could you estimate how many farmers in Kenya are farming organically?
Well, Kenya is divided into 47 counties, and as per the last data for the last 1 year or so, we've been having every county with approximately 500 farmers who are actively concerned and practicing active organic farming. So it's 500 multiplied by 47. That can give us quite a big approximate figure of the farmers that we are having who are actively involved, although others are still adopting with time because they have had the success stories of organic farming. So we are expecting by the end of the year, there will be quite a big impact of increment, and you'll find that many more farmers are going to adopt because also they have heard of the awareness that we try to create on the health benefits. Because we are having lifestyle diseases that are being caused by farming inorganically. You find like some cancerous effects, some blood sugar, some heart diseases are coming out of the consumption of these crops that are planted using the chemicals, the pesticides that are chemically based. So you find out of that now they have been able to hear the awareness and they are trying to adopt each and every moment when they are practicing farming. So we expect at the end of the year to have quite a bigger increased number of farmers in Kenya who will be actively being involved in organic farming. And also the export market actually is peaking, is gaining momentum of products that are organically produced. So you find also farmers are very much interested to transform from inorganic farming to organic farming, even for coffee and tea, so that they can pick a better price in the export market.
So actually that brings up an interesting point, which is the fair trade initiatives. And how do they work alongside sustainable farming practices? Because obviously they're trying to get a better wage for communities, but does that mean there's an impact on the yield and the profits that encourages some farmers to maybe cut corners?
Perfect. In fact, the way the organic market is peaking or is coming up, actually, you find that they have a bigger cutting edge. The profit margin on organic products is encouraging many farmers to venture into the practice. So with time, we shall be having many who will venture and be interested in venturing in organic farming for health and even increasing their wealth or their profit benefits.
Brilliant. That's really good. So if people or if farmers objected to organic methods, what might be some of the more common objections to it, and how do you overcome these?
Well, that's a good question, because in this line of creating our awareness on organic farming, we've been experiencing challenges because, one, there is a lot of competition from these synthetic producers of mostly the pesticides, the glyphosate, and even all inorganic products in the market. So competition also is very, very high. That is one factor that we are facing from the synthetic companies, which are international and others are local based. And now you find also on the organic, on our side now, to be able to counter competition, we need a lot of maybe media involvement in creation of awareness. And once it comes to that, also funding also comes in hand, because for you to be able to maybe place some advertisements, some billboards to showcase how organic farming is important, also to move in this from one county to another county, trying to have several seminars, workshops, that cost comes in. So competition is a factor. Then funding actually is also a factor to be able to increase or create more awareness, of which also we've been trying to write different organizations abroad, even local organizations, funding the donors and some all that, so that we can increase the financial base, so that we can be able to venture into various different parts of the country, create the awareness. Then the third one, the other challenge is climate change, because some areas you find that after the training, yes, we train the farmers, then they start their farming, their planting, and after a certain period of time, rain becomes less. So you find now their crops dry out. A lot of it comes very high if it dries the crop. So you find that's also another challenge. Climate, funding, and competition. Those are the few challenges actually that we have been facing. Also, the last challenge actually is also comes in when it is patience with the farmers, because the conversion period from synthetic farming to organic, to become a fully fledged organic farmer, you have to be patient for almost 2 years so that you can start now realizing the higher profits, the production becoming higher. So those are the main challenges that I can say we are facing around. So the last but not least is the now importation. We have imports of other GMOs. GMOs are another genetically modified food, crops, and seeds from also other international countries, which also is a challenge, which also can be regulated by trying to lobby with the government. So approach to the government also is very important, so that the policies actually trying to see how they can change to some policies and try to reduce on importation of the GMOs.
How easy is it for farmers to buy organic seed?
I can say it is becoming a very, very interesting actually market at the moment, because of the health benefits actually the farmers, even the buyers, the consumers, the message that we have tried to transfer to different stakeholders also. And the health benefits actually have made the farmers or even other consumers to be very much interested in buying the organic food. And again, they are affordable because the farmers are selling them in an affordable price, because they have not used a lot of money buying those synthetic fertilizers, those synthetic pesticides, because we have trained them how to make the pesticides, the organic biopesticides, and also the organic synthetic organic fertilizers. So they have reduced the cost on input, So they are able now to sell the organic product cheaply. So the buyers are now very much interested to buy the organic food.
I guess that's important as well, because it means you have control over your own seed supply within the country or within local areas.
I can say the trend actually that we are anticipating is that these farmers can become self-sufficient, and also they can facilitate the supply of food within the country. So with that, actually this will reduce on importation of feed, because once the farmers, what has made many farmers to rely on imported feed is just that there is a lot of cost involved when doing the farming because of buying a lot of farm inputs. But now when we go organic, it becomes affordable, it becomes self-sufficient, so there will be no need to source even food from abroad.
Yeah. Yes, brilliant. So what are your plans for the future, or where do you hope this will go?
The focus ahead actually is under what we just trying to align with Sustainable Development Goals from the UN. Actually, I can say our vision goes up to a vision of like Vision 2030. 10 years from now, one thing we would like to have managed to have done around even 10 million tree planting when it comes to environment conservation. That means a year, 1 million trees. That's what we have proposed in our agenda. Then another thing, when it comes to nutrition, we would like to have a very much improved health sectors, nutrition-wise, people feeding much more of organic food, unlike these other synthetically planted seeds. That comes in our 10-year plan. Then another thing, economically, in fact, we want to have most farmers empowered, self-empowered, in such a way that they are able to produce their crops. They are able to market them, because we shall be assisting them to access the market, so that they can empower themselves because of the profits they have gotten, so that they can be able to invest in other different areas of health, areas of education, and also areas of infrastructure, so that they can have their basic needs met, housing and all that. Another vision is on self-employment. In fact, we want to create more jobs, unlike the youth that we are having, relying on having employment given or provided by the government. They can be able also to have their own job created. They employ also their own fellow youth. So you see, that will empower the youth. And also, this will make also the youth, because the youth are important, because they are the future of every economy in every country. So they'll be empowered. And from there, those are exactly the 10-year actually plan that we want to be having.
Brilliant. It sounds amazing. And I think you're doing excellent work. So is there anything that international consumers can do to support the initiative, or is there any way that people can get in touch or help out?
Exactly. That is very important when it comes to international markets or international individuals, because also we would like them to get us to source, actually outsourced market. Because you see, at times we experience surplus production over here, especially when it comes to various sort of crop or produce. So market for our products, or market for our goods, export market actually, that is very, very important. Also linking us with like-minded internationalist movements or bodies that actually are very much involved with organic farming, and even institutions like universities, colleges, technical institutes of research that are also dealing with the same. So linkages also, they are very important for information sharing and also for mainly research actually. So another thing for the international market also is linking us with the potential maybe donors, potential partners, so that we can be able to make organic farming have a big impact, not only locally, but also in the continent, Africa continent itself, and also have an institution, actually an organic farming training institution, whereby we are able to have many students, youth being trained on the same, so that adoption can be continuous throughout. So this also can be achieved through the foreign partnership abroad.
If you feel you could work with SOFAFRICA or Simon, or would like to reach out to him, you can do so via their Facebook page, which there is a link to in the show notes. Alternatively, please email podcast@rootsandall.co.uk and I can put you in touch. I'd like to say thank you to Simon for taking the time to talk to us about his work, and also for the work he's doing to promote organic farming and to promote the economic and physical welfare of farmers in Kenya. I'd also like to say thank you to two of the Roots and All patrons, Ronnie and Dave, for suggesting two of the questions that I put to Simon, both of which prompted an enthusiastic response from him. I really am grateful to the Patreon supporters and those of you who've donated on GoFundMe. I pay extra for my monthly phone contract, so I get 100 international minutes a month, which allows me to interview guests overseas. And sadly, I didn't realise that Kenya wasn't included in the international call package. And the call to Simon ended up costing me over £100. So I'm really grateful to all of you for providing me with a bit of financial safety when it comes to the routine expenses and also to the unexpected ones, which are a result of me being a wally. A huge thanks to you for listening, and I will catch you all next Tuesday. You can download or listen to the podcast direct from the website www.rootsandall.co.uk, where you'll also find my blog and a sign-up form for the newsletter, which gives you a weekly roundup of content, plus the inside scoop on things like upcoming guests. Or you can subscribe wherever you normally get your podcasts. Email me with comments and feedback at podcast@rootsandall.co.uk. Follow me on Twitter, Roots and All, Facebook, Roots and All UK, and Instagram, Roots and All Pod. But please also check out my Patreon, where you can make a one-off donation or take out a monthly subscription to help support my work, because if you like what I do, please help me to continue doing it. Even if you make a one-off donation of £1, trust me, it all helps and I will be immensely grateful. So please go to Patreon and search for Roots and All.